the crossroads of Europe. Strasbourg is known for many things, from the poet Goethe to the excellent wines of Alsace. It's known for two contrasting foods, sauerkraut, and it's the home of the geese grown specifically for pâté foie gras. Strasbourg was the home of Roger de Lisle, author of the French national anthem, and this 11th century cathedral, a landmark in Alsace. You'll get a better look at Strasbourg late in October when ABC returns to televise the World Gymnastics Championships. But today on ABC's Wide World of Sports, an exhibition by the Romanian Gymnastics team and perhaps the final appearance of Nadia Comaneci before the World Championships. Hello, I'm Andrea Kirby. We're in Strasbourg, France, and working with me today, our expert commentator, Kathy Rigby-Mayfield. Kathy, you know, people remember Nadia Comaneci as the heroine of the 76 Olympics with 7 perfect scores in those 3 days of events. She was the heroine, but she was not the darling of the crowds as Olga Korbut was, because Comaneci is a different personality and a different type performer.
Well, I think it was summed up best by Nellie Kim from the Soviet Union when she said, Olga is an actress, a performer. Her best routines came when the audience was on her side. Nadia, on the other hand, is more of a technician. She's more worried about what her coach thinks and what's going on in her own mind about perfection than she is about anything else.
Well, she's still a heroine, and it's 2 years later. Comaneci is nearly 17 years old. She's grown about 2 inches, and she's gained nearly 12 pounds, something our viewers should notice. But what about her gymnastics? What has she been doing since the Olympics?
Well, she hasn't been doing too many exhibitions or competitions. She's been trying to put new routines together, new tricks. She'll need them in the World Championships.
And hopefully we'll see some of those today. Let's watch.
And on the first event, the vault, Nadia Comaneci, and she's doing a new vault, a handspring front flip. Good punch. Beautiful, executed very well. It's really difficult to land this vault well because unlike some of the other vaults, you can't tell how high you are by sight. You have to go by feel, and it's easy to underspin the vault and overspin it too. Doing the same vault. As you see there, she underspun it a little bit, and her feet extended too early, and that caused her to step back.
Now, Bon Grecu, a 27-year-old.
Beautiful height. Nice exercise.
Bon Grecu. A beautiful performance, but American Kurt Thomas perhaps even better. On the uneven parallel bars, 17-year-old Teodora Ungureanu with one of her coaches. And there's been a coaching change for the Romanians. Bella Caroli, who was the coach at the Montreal Olympics for this team, is no longer with them, Kathy.
Well, they say that he's now working with only the younger gymnasts, bringing them up and trying to prime them for international competition. There is, however, a rumor going around that there was a misunderstanding between he and Teodora Ungureanu and Nadia Comaneci, and that's why he's no longer with them.
Ungureanu, the number 2 woman on the Romanian team behind Comaneci, but the two of them best of friends. And now Nadia on the uneven bars, and this was the event that electrified audiences in Montreal. And Kathy, you know, she shows her growth. She just looks taller and stronger.
Well, she has regained some of that strength that she seemed to have lost right after the Olympics. Her routines are basically the same. However, they're so difficult still, and the thing that is so great to watch is her extension and her good form. That front flip between the bar. She's moving very smoothly. The only real change that you'll see comes right before her dismount. As a matter of fact, she took out a move rather than added one. Right here, instead of doing 2 free hip to the handstand, she only does 1 to her dismount.
But isn't she likely to save any new tricks for the World Championships?
Absolutely. She doesn't want anybody to steal her new tricks. Creativity, originality plays a big part in scoring.
We'll be back with Nadia Comaneci and more gymnastics. The event, an exhibition by the Romanian Gymnastics team, and the center of attention, of course, Nadia Comaneci.
And the first vault by Nadia Comaneci, handspring front, and you'll notice on her tuck position, her legs come apart slightly. This is to give her enough rotation to get that tuck in tight, to get around 1.5 times.
Ian Chakikis, performing on the rings, a very strenuous event, even though they make
twisting double back. Good landing.
Onto the balance beam. and Rodica Dunca. And at 14, just a year older than Comaneci was when our viewers first saw her on Wide World of Sports back in 1975.
Rodica does a number of unusual flexibility moves. Her strongest point is flexibility, so it is important that she use a great deal of it. Nice back handspring, back layout on the balance beam, not used too often. A difficult move.
Well, this is about what Comaneci looked like in Montreal, wasn't it, Kathy?
Yes, and it'll be interesting to see whether or not Rodica will change body styles. There's Nadia. Not even interested, it looks.
Do the young ones have more flexibility, Kathy, before they gain that weight as Nadia has?
Not necessarily. The one thing that does seem to happen when they do gain that height and weight is they lose strength. Back walkover, back tuck, beautiful. Here you'll see a flexible move. Little loss of balance, but believe me, a very difficult move to hold on to that toe like that without losing balance. She'll do a move here that is pretty unusual. You don't see it on the balance beam too often. You only see it on the uneven bars.
Why is that?
Well, because the balance beam is square and it doesn't really fit the body too well to go around like that.
It hurts.
It hurts, you're not kidding. Look at that flexibility. That's the kind of flexibility that you see a lot of the Russians, they do so well. Double twisting, back layout. She's really going to threaten Nadia in the World Championships.
One of the up-and-coming Romanians, Rodica Dunca. And now Nadia on the balance beam. And look at those faces. You know, Comaneci has generated as much concentration on her as she has in what she does up on the beam herself.
Well, you know, Andrea, many of those are gymnasts out there, and hopefully they would all like to be like Nadia someday. So they're concentrating on every move she does. We'll see a few changes on this event. An aerial cartwheel into a backflip. New move for Nadia. Beautiful. She really has that down well. It's important on this event psychologically to throw some of those new tricks before a competition such as the World Games. You want to have them down pat when you do them there.
She doesn't look as flexible as the younger girl, but she's technically stronger, isn't she?
Yes, she is, especially on her trick movements. She seems to be holding her back a little bit on some of her dance moves. But her tricks are just as strong as ever. Here's another new move. Front flip. Oh, she dipped slightly with her shoulder, causing her to be off balance. Hopefully she'll have that perfected by the World Championships.
Even though this is just an exhibition, Kathy, it has to be important for them to perform in front of an audience before a big competition, sort of take some of the heat off, I would imagine.
That's exactly right. It's such a nerve-wracking event. Good control. Here she's getting ready for a dismount. You can almost tell when they are. They pause slightly, and here she goes. Double twisting, back layout. Beautiful.
From the beam to the floor, another youngster, Carmen Savu, in the floor exercises. No scoring in these exhibition events, so they can really perform freely and aggressively.
And most of the gymnasts try to fit the music to their own personalities, and she certainly has done it here. The gymnast has to have tumbling movements, as you'll see here. Double twisting, back layout. They have to show flexibility, acrobatic movements, balance moves, and also a change of pace, as you're seeing here. They can have modern dance as well as classical ballet moves. It's up to the individual style.
I like this music. It seems to suit her personality.
You know, and getting back to the jazz or the classical ballet, she's able to do both here with this type of music. It's called an Arabian to a flip-flop back tuck. There's some flexibility. It's been very interesting since I started gymnastics, how dramatic these ladies have become. It seems the one who outacts the other gets a better score. I like to see both the good tumbling, good height, good form, as well as the acting, because it makes it much more interesting to watch. Nice exercise.
It was entertaining to the crowds here, and they always like the young ones. 14-year-old Carmen Savu, and when we return, Nadia in her final event. Nadia in this exhibition, the floor exercise, and as we mentioned before, this may be the last look at her before the World Championships in October, and that will be an important competition.
Her opening tumbling run will be a double back flip, a move that she was going to use in Montreal, but she had an ankle injury and wasn't able to practice it as much as she would have liked to, so she didn't throw it. You'll see that her legs were slightly apart on that move, and that was to help speed up her rotation.
She seems so technical, Kathy. She really doesn't even seem to care about her dancing. And then right here, right before a very physical flip, she really gets into it.
Well, that's one of the common mistakes made by some gymnasts. They concentrate so hard on the tumbling that their dance is lacking, and that's especially true if they haven't had the formal ballet training.
It's such a contrast to Olga Korbut, who enjoyed every single person that was in the audience, and I don't think Nadia even knows they're there.
I don't think she does either. She's concentrating so hard on each move. She wants it to be perfected, and she doesn't really care about that audience. Her last tumbling run, round up flip-flop, beautiful height on that double twist. She may be lacking in endurance in her dance, but her tumbling is just as strong as ever.
Well, Kathy, you've seen her here in this exhibition, and I would like to know, and probably the viewers know, do you think she's as good as she was at Montreal?
Well, there's some individual moves that are just as good, but to be very honest, in general, no. I think that by the World Games she will be as strong as ever, but there's still a little lack of perfection on some of her moves, and she's not working as effortlessly as she did in Montreal.
And perhaps another gymnast will come along that has that personality, and sometimes that personality can take the extra edge for the judges.
Well, when that audience is on your side and they're applauding and they're with you all the way, it seems to influence the judges a little bit.
The Romanian Gymnastics women in a totally different routine, and I kind of like this for a change, Kathy.
Well, they toured the United States about a year ago, and they did a routine that was kind of a folk dance. It's kind of interesting to see. They've gotten a little more risque, a little more jazz in there.
Nadia seems very technical, doesn't she, even in this ad-lib situation?
Well, it'd be nice to see her let her hair down completely. Little smile there. You can almost see her counting out each step.
I think this is the kind of thing people like to see them doing because they aren't sure gymnasts do anything but work, and this shows that they perhaps know how to play too.
One of Olga Korbut's favorite things to do when she was in our country touring was to go disco dancing and also watch Elton John in a concert.
Well, this is clearly some Americana music, but even this seems structured and regimented. They aren't totally loose with it.
Well, when you have to be in control as you are in gymnastic routines, it's awful hard to let go and just not care about how your arms move, how your shoulders are. It seems like you're just tighter.
I think they enjoyed it, though.
They're off to work again, though.
I think she's relaxed enough now to give some recognition to the audience. Well, that's it from Strasbourg, France. Wide World returns to the same site in October for the World Gymnastic Championships. Andrea Kirby along with Kathy Rigby Mason. Now back to Al Michaels for